Hey guys, okay, working on this 1991 Dodge Dakota. It's a V8 318 4x4. We're going to be replacing the front wheel bearing hub assembly on this thing. So this vehicle doesn't have like a replaceable actual bearing. You have to buy this like whole hub, and they're a little bit difficult to come by, especially in Canada. In the States, not too bad. I saw a lot of websites that have them, but I was able to get this one at partsavatar.ca. So it was about 200 bucks. It's a fairly large bearing in there, and this is the first time it's been done on this truck. This truck has over 400,000 kilometers on it, so they do last quite a while. So some telltale signs to know that it is your bearing and not something else like upper or lower ball joints. You'll hear grinding when you're driving, so it'll just, as the wheel's turning, maybe I can actually make it happen here. Let me just... As the wheel's turning, you might be able to hear like a grinding sound, which is the bearing rubbing, but obviously it needs to have weight on it to hear that. And the wheel will be sort of loose, like it is right there. So you can see it moves around. And if we look inside, in here, let me get a better angle. If we look inside in here, you can actually see it's not the lower ball joint moving, it's the actual bearing where the CV axle goes through there. So let's get to replacing this. Okay, so I let the truck back down off the jack. That was just to show you the wheel moving. So you're gonna start with the truck down on the ground. Makes it easier to remove this nut here. So we'll remove this pin. And basically this nut is just holding the CV axle in place. And yeah, so that should come off as well. That's just holding that nut in the right spot. And it'll be this little washer. So we'll loosen this nut. This is a 32 millimeter nut. Now, you can just loosen this. I'm just going to take it right off because mine has been in here so long. Likely it's a bit seized, the axle, not the nut. So we'll take this right off. Turn this up. Okay, and we'll also jack the vehicle up now, and then we'll take the wheel off. Okay guys, so once you got the tire off, actually we shouldn't remove this washer that was on there. So if you guys know about the front caliper brake system on these trucks, you know that these slide pins here, right there, basically there's I got the 7 millimeter hex Allen key. It goes into the back of this. It goes through the caliper, hopefully I can show you that, slides on that pin, and then that bolt goes into the caliper bracket right there. They are notorious for, if they're corroded or old, breaking off. When I did the brakes on this lasso, I made sure I put anti-seize in there because it's a known problem. If you break that off, you've got to drill it out, chase the threads. It turns this job from an easy job into a little bit of a difficult job. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat that area. Even though I put, grease on it and everything, I'm gonna heat that area just to expand that a little bit so it makes pulling this out a lot easier and it doesn't stress out that bolt. So let's do that. So I got this torch here, I'm just gonna turn it on super low. And I'm gonna get it, that thing has a rubber boot on it, so you just gotta be careful, but I'm getting it right down in there. It's okay to heat up the brake pad a bit. I'm just trying to direct the heat just onto where the bolt screws into. Let that warm up for a little bit. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so that one's loose. I think. Sometimes that you think they're loose, but they're broken off. Okay, no, we're good. Seems to be backing out. It's still pretty clean. This is why they break, because this is small and this is big and it just can't take the pressure and they break right there. Okay, I'll just tie this up out of the way. Okay, so next there's 4 bolts that hold the hub onto the spindle, but we got to make sure this is going to come out, this CV axle. So this is basically your CV joint coming from your front differential, and it goes through the hub here. We're just going to give it a couple taps. You don't want to destroy the end of this so your nut doesn't go on, because you are reusing that. But just to loosen it, hopefully, in that. And then what we'll do is we'll take these bolts out, and then I'm going to use a puller if I need to push that out. So let's loosen these bolts. Okay guys, that was a bit of a battle. I had to use the plasma cutter. You could use a torch if you had it. But basically, let me just get the camera repositioned. Basically what I did, I protected this spline here with a piece of metal, as you probably saw me doing with this pipe, and then at the end there, I was using this piece of heavier steel just to hold it there, and I made a slice right through, and basically like right through like that, and cut it away so that it could sort of compress a bit, and I think I got it on the way out. Also, I cut some slots right here. Yeah, so I cut some slots right here and right there, and that I can put my my slide hammer into those slots, and then I can hammer like that. So it looks like it's on its way out. Let's get it all the way out. So basically it was just stuck all around here, sort of welded itself with rust in place. Got some anti-seize. Okay guys, so we're going to put our new bearing on. Whole bunch of anti-seize on this, just to make it easier for the next guy. Okay, so we're going to install our rotor, brake rotor, and our caliper. And then I put brake component grease on the slide here, and then some anti-seize on the end. Wheel here. Okay, we'll put our washer back on and our nut. And we'll torque it down. Now it doesn't have to be crazy tight, but you're just pulling everything together. You're pulling the CV axle towards the wheel here. And you can see just with that amount of torque, it's solid again. The wheel doesn't move like it did before. And everything spins freely. So we'll let it down and we'll adjust this so we can get that cap back on and the pin through. We'll just see what kind of torque we have. I like to do it with a hand wrench. That's pretty good there. We'll make sure this can go in. And then we just got to turn it a little bit more. And yeah, we should be able to get the pin in through there. I just forgot this little compression washer here, so I'm just gonna put that on and put my lock over top. And you should use a new cotter pin. I don't have one with me. I will change it when I get a new one. But I'm just gonna put this old one in here for now. And that's all there is to it, guys. So if you got any questions, just leave them in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for watching.